Hello and a warm welcome back to the WenDirkCast with me, Jimbo, and of course, Calvinator. He's back. We'll be discussing the latest MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more that have gone on over the last couple weeks, in this case, one important note, obviously none of what we chat about is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse football. Welcome back, Calva. Happy New Year. Did you have a great festive time?
Definitely. Yeah, also happy new to you and to the whole community, of course. Maybe the best MFL year so far for everyone. Definitely had a good time. Back in the home country, the Netherlands, now back in Poland. So I took also a bit of an MFL break, a bit like less Twitter, less videos. I didn't join your stream. I didn't join the Extra Dirk, but I got like my MFL batteries recharged to make a lot of content.
I think that's a sensible thing to do. Yeah, recharge yourself for another bigger and better year ahead, right?
Yeah, I just told you off record, like I was listening to your Extra Dirk with Duff, and I felt like, I want to join this conversation. I felt like I need to say my opinion about things, so I got warmed up. It was so fun to not know what was discussed and listen to it, like be on the other side for one time. So it was great.
Yeah, and a big thanks to Duff for tuning in or for helping out, sort of short notice, very spontaneous, getting involved. That's a big thanks to him.
Yeah, and how was the stream? I also wonder.
The stream was great. It was kind of chaotic as well. I mean, you maybe people want to go back and watch the VOD of the stream, the video on Twitch, but it was a really great stream. I think we had about 100 to 120 viewers like throughout, and then when the wheel was happening, had about 190, and oh my word, the chat was just chaotic. Chaotic, I mean, exclamation mark raffle chaotic, but without the raffle going on. Just people wanting the wheel being spun. And then I think the very first wheel, or no, for the last pack, the rare pack, I said, right, chat, I want you to count down 3, 2, 1, the best you can. And it was just an absolute mess. It was so funny. It was an absolute mess, but it was great fun. I think we gained, generosity of some people was amazing. 12 subscribers, I think, which is phenomenal. So thank you to all of you for subscribing. And just thank you to all of you who tuned in, because it was a lot of fun. I think I went for about nearly 3.5 hours. So it took a lot out of me on a Thursday night. But I think I woke up the next day and went, yeah, that was well worth it. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yes. And we'll be streaming again on Wednesday with the
Backdrop, baby.
Backdrop, yes. The market is very hot. So I think the packs are also getting more, I would say, interesting now with the current market prices. Before they were maybe a bit overpriced. I think now with the current market, they are definitely valued correctly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be popular. And of course, another quiz for me to win something.
Yippee.
We have yet to see exactly what is there to win, but stay tuned. There will be
we do know that Obi's donated.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I forgot.
He's donated an uncommon player and he told me like 3 times on stream, and I forgot every single time.
I think 2 uncommon players.
Maybe. I think it's an uncommon player and then like an uncommon player pack maybe, or I can't remember exactly. But we've got 2 extra things to give away, and they're both uncommon related. So obviously even more generosity, but we've got more than usual prizes to give away on Wednesday, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah. So tune in and play the quiz. You can win, and then join the drop, show all your things as usual.
Yes.
And before we kick off, let's talk about the plan today. So of course, it's the new year, 2025, and we're going to talk about resolutions. And the funny thing is, last year we did that too. We had actually a whole episode of resolutions. So we can, check how it went. I don't know if you made a resolution like going to the gym more, and usually what happens to them is not so good.
Yeah, so I've clipped near enough all of our resolutions from last year's videos, and we're going to listen to them live, react to them, and then off the back of them suggest more resolutions for us on a personal level. I mean, personal with an MFL, and also resolutions we hope for MFL as well. But yeah, I gave up crisps last year, and I'm doing it again this year. I think crisps are really boring. Like they don't provide enough for how much enjoyment you get out of eating them. But so far I'm doing crisps with no fizzy drinks.
Okay.
I did crisps last year in fizzy. I did crisps last year in fizzy drinks in 2023, and I both did them successfully. So now I'm going to combine the two together. and see how that goes. And I want to do at least 3 days a week of fitness as well. Sometimes I play football a couple of times a week, and then I won't do anything for like 3 weeks. So I need to get back into it again.
Wow.
Yeah,
sounds good. To be continued.
Until next
For
year.
next year, we're gonna check how that went also. Yeah. So later, all about resolutions. Let's start with the updates. We didn't do an update section for 2 weeks, and yeah, a lot happened, especially if you didn't listen to the last Extra Dirk. But how were your 2 weeks? What's your moment of the week, of the past 2 weeks?
The 2 weeks have been going as expected. They're sort of going okay, not crap. They're doing fairly well. Wyverns predicted 9th in their new division of bronze, but they're currently sat at a delightful 6th. So
great.
We're 3 places above there, and there's actually between that 9th spot there is 8 points between me and 9th. So I like to say that I'm maybe not going to get relegated, which will be a huge success. Great success. But I think my biggest moment of the week or the season so far is progression of one of my players. You might recognise the name from the stream, Pascal Trinidad, the striker I have.
17-year-old, right? Now 18.
Yeah, well, now 18, yeah.
Now
He's
18,
had his birthday. Yeah. When I first got him, he was a rotation player for the Wyverns at 73 rated. And now he is a 78 rated striker. So he hit tier jail and then got out of it. And then this season he's gone up 3 overalls, including, let me just double check this, including over the last 7 days, his last 30 days, his shooting's gone up by 4, but overall his shooting's gone up by 7. So he's now got 82 shooting and 85 pace. So for an 18-year-old, I have got big hopes for this lad.
Especially since prime age almost never happens before like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Right? So that's very promising.
I think I think it will inevitably be a player who I will want to keep for a long while because of his age and utility with him rather than sell. But I imagine over maybe one more season with the Wyverns, and then based on progression, he could just get shifted off to a team in silver or gold basically after that. So, but yeah, he's banging them in. So it's great to see. Great to see. How about you, Calva? Season 2, how's it going?
Let's do also one progression and one competition story. So progression, I went from 2 Legos to 4 Legos. 2 rare to Lego tier jail. So that sounds very good.
Congrats.
More Legos now. Thanks. And also, you remember from 2 weeks ago, I talked about my personal splash, my own splash of 220 on a 82 rated striker, and he went up by +4. So I was like, this might be a super talented guy. And in the past 2 weeks, he went up by 2 more overall.
Ooh, hello.
So he's now also knocking on the legendary door. And I think his shooting overall went up by 10 or something in his whole career.
Wow.
So that's really
nice,
crazy. I think strikers with high shooting, they go up really fast. So that's a good story. Progression-wise, doing well. And maybe my moment of the week is the Magos just now. They qualified for the next round of the Cup.
Very nice.
In the league.
Congrats.
We're going to talk about the league later. They're not doing so well. But in the Cup, I won 4 matches, lost 1, and I already qualified.
That's huge.
So that's already 120k to be distributed.
Did you make it through out the group stage last season?
Yeah, also.
Okay, sweet. So you've got...
But now, because of the league going not so good, I was a bit fearful, like maybe the Cup, and I'm rotating also for the Cup.
Yeah.
A bit more. But the fact that I won 4 matches there, already qualified, and then I already have that 120k I can kind of give out to those people who put their faith in me again. That's a nice relief. So hopefully we learn a bit from that Cup success and do better in the league. But more about that later in the season update.
Indeed.
First, the dev updates. And the team is on holiday, especially Matt and Jax are taking it easy, so not so much happening. Of course, the team wishes us a happy new year to them too. And only dev update was about the engine. Quentin has been working very hard, also very responsive in the engine feedback.
Yes.
He also says thank you to the valuable feedback in the channel. So yeah, that's a lot of content for him to work with. And they're working on this new version of the engine to improve specific behaviors. And what are the things that people talk about the most and that they're also focusing on is, for example, the player positioning in defensive phases. Sometimes they make a bit weird movements, or reducing the risk associated with defensive passes, and resolving a bug that caused passes to be intercepted too easily. So a bit more about the defensive phase and passing. That's the main focus area. Yeah, apart from that, not much happening. Also, I think last week there was not too much.
No, I think most of the side around the dev updates is, well, anything about development and the engine has just been there's been a big debate over the last, week about, I guess, the state of the engine.
Yeah.
And it seems that there's a lot of people who aren't keen on it this season. There was a big debate about whether you make changes during the season. If they're clearly flawed, then there are flaws in little bugs. Do you push it out? Do you not? Do you wait? And it's kind of an interesting debate. I don't know. We won't go too much into it at this point. But in terms of the engine this year, do you like it more than last season? If we were to remove the fact that there's remove the indirect or indirect or the set pieces part of it, do you think the engine's better this season, or from your viewing?
It's really hard to say. Also for my teams, like I pretty much do the same thing, and some teams are doing better with it and others are doing a bit worse. So I also didn't do enough testing, and as I said, I took a bit of an MFL holiday, so I also barely did any testing or checked really thoroughly what was going on. So I can't really tell, but the debate is, it's a nice, it's more fundamental, right? Is it fair to change something midway through a season while people do preseason testing? Is it then fair to change things? Of course, it changes for everyone. But if you build a squad based on your testing results, and then meanwhile through the season, there's a couple of things that alter the way the games play out and maybe makes your tactics a bit more invalid, maybe that shouldn't happen. And maybe there should be, again, this experimental one for friendlies, so you can test for next season. And we keep with one version in the actual season, like one version for one season. I think I'm more on that side. I don't know which side you would be on.
Yeah, I was the experimental one last season, but I think it's been said before, you're so focused on the current season that you may not always have enough time to go and test the new one, or people, might have, that sort of thing. I think a lot of the feedback has been around, I know there's been some parts around sort of like passing out from the back and the mistakes, and even if you've not got passing out the back, your players might try and, your defenders or goalkeeper. I saw a goalkeeper today pass out to a striker just outside the 18-yard box who just chipped him straight away. Yeah. And I was thinking that shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't be just essentially rolling out to a striker in front of him. That's not even got any of his opposition players nearby. That shouldn't be happening. There's a couple of things like that I can see winding up people and get annoying, but sometimes it'll balance itself. I find like for all the things that go against you, they eventually balance themselves out as well. A bit like VAR in real life, right? You sometimes, unless you're a big club, but usually balance themselves out.
Yeah, it's true. Hopefully. It should be like there needs to be blunders also. Like in football, if you Google, you go to YouTube, there's enough blunders. Do you know this Mark Flecky is now Brentford keeper, I think, right? Yeah. There's this famous moment where he was literally drinking and looking at the fence. And then
I remember.
Like, you can look up that moment. Like, imagine this happens in MFL. He would be totally raging. But this happens IRL too. Yeah. So it's always...
And the volumes of games that
do happen. And people make dumb mistakes. That's humans, right? Humans make dumb mistakes. We're not robots, so... So but there needs to be a balance and needs to be fair for everyone, and not.
It's an emotional game. It's an emotional game as well. Yeah. For one mistake your team has, someone on the other side is laughing and very happy with that.
Yeah, and you are massively lucky, and someone's massively unlucky. Like we'll keep having this debate, but for me, it's just part of the game, and we all deal with the same engine. It's fair for everyone. So that's mainly my thing. But should you change it throughout the season? That's another debate.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the Diamonds update. A lot happening. We didn't do an update last season. Now we play 10 matches. So we're almost halfway through the season, and there's quite an interesting ranking. You can kind of divide up the table into, 4 parts. You have Biscione Milano being kind of the Liverpool of MFL. Cruising, very dominant. 9 wins, 1 draw. And then like a huge bunch fighting for second with OM Legends, Vissel London. That's formerly known as Londinium. That's what you talked about last time. Club Atletico Tango, Big Wilbert, nice comeback. Bit of a bad start, but he's now also 1 point from second place. Jogo Bonito 17, BFC Barcelona 17, and Meta Mercenaries 15. It's like a whole group still fighting for second. And then we have, let's say, the relegation group. BFC Manchester with 11, Samba with 10, Naples Goldfeathers 9, Magos de Madrid, my team, with 8, and Variants with only 3. So maybe that's the Southampton of MFL, who seems to be kind of prime target for relegation.
Yeah.
So I read somewhere, did we curse Ronin? Is it the WenDirk curse again?
I think Tagod tagged us in the Diamond League chat, which was like, oh hello, why have I been tagged in the Diamond League chat? And it was, have we cursed him? I think Ronin was like, no, they've not cursed me. But maybe have we cursed him? I think the biggest surprise is, or maybe not a biggest surprise, is that Biscione Milano was on top, but I think it's the extent to which he's on top.
Yeah, very dominant.
9 points clear. He's 3 wins ahead of everyone else, essentially, which is phenomenal. We sort of mentioned Jogo Bonito might be, to use a classic phrase, there or thereabouts towards that top 4, top 5, which he is. We also said that we expect at least 2 of those promoted sides to be relegated, and if we were to take the current league table as it is and ends on that, that would also become true. So it feels like an odd year, but it's kind of refreshing to see some differences. But I can imagine Ronin's probably pretty fuming, which I think he is, because you'd expect him, statistically the strongest team, although.
Yeah, and he pointed out his goal difference, which is indeed very interesting. It's like he has the best apart from Biscione, who has plus 16, he has plus 14. So a huge goal difference. But still, he lost 5 games and won 5.
Yeah. I think in that sense, you maybe say we'll come on to. Do you want to talk about the game that you've got highlighted here?
Yeah, we can move into that indeed, because I think this is quite telling of is it like luck or is it skill that Biscione is so far ahead and Meta is mid-table. So this was the game between Biscione Milano and Meta Mercenaries, which Biscione won with 1-0, but they only had an XG of 0.6, while Meta had an XG of 1.5, and Biscione only had 1 shot on target and scored at 1 goal, and Meta had 3 shots on target and 15 total shots and scored no goals. So... yeah, you can say Biscione was very lucky to get away with 3 points there, and Meta was super unlucky.
I would say that it's more. I think Meta have just been really unlucky.
Yeah,
I think the goal difference highlights that slightly.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I beat them with my goals. One of my 2 wins is so, and that was also a bit not like I think as bad as this, but it was also a bit lucky. Yeah, pretty lucky. So I think Meta is just super unlucky, and they are only 4 points from second spot, so they can still save their season and second, I think. Yeah. And maybe Biscione got also quite lucky with some of their results.
Yeah.
Although, so you can both have great teams, and luck just plays a big role. Is it going your way or not? But definitely interesting to see how it will develop in the coming weeks. Yeah. I don't know if we should do more predictions again.
Maybe we tell the managers who we're going to predict, and they say, "Yeah, you can predict me there," or they go, "No, you are not predicting me because I don't want to get potentially cursed." But to use a kind of real life example with that goal difference, but kind of the reverse with minus, I think it was 1992, 1993. Norwich came third in the Premier League with a minus goal difference.
Yeah, wow.
Which you could argue, like, did we fluke that season? I think we then came like mid-table the next year. But sometimes it is weird when it happens. But does that then signify you were really lucky or really unlucky? We'll never know. But I think the one thing for sure is that I think the table's still got a lot of room to change. I don't think there's any certains apart from Southampton getting relegated. Variance. Unless obviously got
the only win
the window as well.
It was against me while I beat him in preseason a couple times. But yeah, so let's talk a bit about my goals. 8 points out of 10 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 6 losses. Some of those losses were a bit, like OM Legends scored the winner like the 85th minute or something. I could have gotten a bit more points, I think. But as I said 2 weeks ago, everyone else got stronger, I got weaker. So it is harder. I also was predicted a bit lower, I think 9th spot by Busties. So yeah, I think we're just going for the 8th. We're going for no relegation. That's my main thing. Okay. And based on those cup results, I can do.
They've got it in you.
Can win.
The players have got it in them. They just need to show it in the league, not just the cup.
Exactly. And the last 2 games was 0-0 against BFC Barcelona and against Naples Goldfeather. So we stopped losing. Let's say that's a positive. We stopped losing. Now back to winning ways. Yeah. And let's see how it goes. But yeah, 8th place, 9th place, I think we're pretty happy with that.
Yeah. And I think also, just before we move to Marketplace, to all our listeners, hopefully your season 2 is going well. I know I tweeted the other day saying my second club made it out the cup, and then a bunch of you replied back with it. Tag us on Twitter or out in the Discord, well, preferably on Twitter, because then everyone can see it as well. About how your season's going. Are you top of the league? You looking like you're going to get relegated? You're out the cup. We want to hear all the success stories of the season so far, but also all of the ones that potentially could be juicy in a couple games' time.
Definitely.
At WenDirkCast.
Always looking for stories. Speaking about stories, let's talk about what's happening in the marketplace. Well, there's so much happening there. First, let's welcome some new managers. Yeah, it was impossible to find all the new ones from the past 2 weeks, but I've just written down about 50 names. So Thomas Bult, Sneaks, Gertie, Breaks, Ivan Murilino, Paloma FC, Norea, Radek, Jacobites 23, Haji 13, Robin, Vetman, AZF, and probably many more new managers that I didn't see because I was too far away in the sales bot and it's so active that's hard to keep track. I thought as new user of the week, probably we should put Akane there. As we didn't do. He is new. We didn't see him I didn't mention him before. So he is new. So of course he has to be the new manager, new user of the week. And listen to the Extra Dirk episode that Jimbo made with Duff to hear about his story.
Yeah. I've also later on got, when inevitably I do my piece, and we know it's going to be, I've got some more information about him in there as well, and it is just unreal, by the way. Like, the stats is mind-boggling, so we'll see.
I think it's not surprise who's the splash of the week. I mean, everyone can.
Need a separate category for it.
Yeah, can guess that. Some other stories, comments. So AJ Vitz is sweeping the $1 floor. We see that sometimes he's buying up all the $1 players on the market. Rare players, and Brandon did like a rare splash, let's say, 600 USD for an 83 rated right wing back, 23-year-old. Then you might think that's quite expensive. Why is Brandon doing that? Because as a center back, he's 88. So it's, let's say, an 88 rated center back, 23 for 600. That sounds pretty good deal. So well spotted by Brandon. Then legendary players, so apart from all the Akane sales to other great ones, which are worthy of splashes, but in this current situation, they're a bit snowed under. So Hertha, but my player from Magos, Mierzejewski, 91 rated center defensive midfielder, CDM, from Obi-Wan Nowitzki for 1,300 USD, quite a lot. And Frajoko expanded his collection of Italian Legos, an 89 rated goalkeeper 20-year-old for 1,100 USD. So also 2 massive legendary sales. And about clubs, Vulrak bought Iron Reims for 125 USD from Duff. So is Duff selling clubs? That is the big story out there. Maybe it was a good offer. He couldn't refuse. 125. Then.
Right. First one of the year. Splash of the week. And I think no one is going to be surprised by this. Akane is this week's, for like this year so far, splash of the week. Last 3 weeks splash of the week. Dropping not one, but 2 $3,200 purchases. One of them being your player from last season, now at Yoga Benito, Edinson Heredia from Sturgeonator. And the other one being hashtag Poopack himself, Jeremy Clare, being purchased from Eric. And they are 2 monstrous purchases. When we did the extra Dirk, I say we, me and Duff, we did the extra Dirk during the week, I said he'd spent about $36,000. Calva, do you want to know how much that sum is now currently sitting at?
Well, checking the sales bot and seeing all those legendaries, and he recorded it, when was it, like Thursday, Wednesday, so definitely 50k.
It's 66,000 now.
Wow.
And here's some even more crazy stats, right? He now owns 40 legendaries, and over the last couple of weeks, there have been 50 splashes of value either equal to or greater than $500. 50 that are the same or greater than. Yeah. Do you know how many of them are Akane? Out of those 50?
43.
Oh, no. I like the thinking. 36 of them.
36. Okay.
36.
Still
which
14
is
other ones.
Monumental. And I think I spoke with Duff about the potential shake-up for Diamond, and that was on Wednesday. And now he's gone and dropped more dosh. So in fact, his top 4 players are 95, 94, 94, 93. And it's just...
There's no stopping. I feel like
it feels like, when will this guy potentially win Diamond League if he keeps going at this rate? He said he wants to have as many clubs as he possibly can.
Although I saw he also put like Fortaleza Plat in the club sales, club buy sell channel, like selling that.
Because he has
and then he also listed a lot of clubs. So there's like, what's going on there?
I feel like maybe the listing the clubs is just putting them out there. I don't know. Like, yeah, the board. I mean, even the Bordeaux platinum side he's got for $5,000, but his Fortaleza one is for 650. So I think maybe the top 2 ones are just
maybe
showcasing he owns. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see next couple of seasons what happens there, because this is a whale of huge proportion coming in and dropping that.
Yeah, very
taking all the good players.
Season 3 diamond market is going to be so interesting with everyone selling their goats pretty much. Let's call it that way. And then how are you going to replace them? You also need to get some other legendaries from somewhere. Akane probably is going to have the best squad. He's just buying the best players. That's his strategy.
Wrexham.
And then everyone has to fight for the remains, the scraps, right? Kind of. So it's going to be super interesting. What kind of teams we're going to see in season 3? So Vissel London will be amazing. Yeah, Heredia, he's one of the best players in game. He was really amazing for me. He is so all around. And Claire, of course, one of the best midfielders, left mid. So his whole left side, left mid, with that left back, left mid, he's already like huge powerhouse. So
yeah,
to be very curious, season 3, what's going to happen.
I think maybe his next purchase might be another 90+ striker, because at the moment he's got Al Said at 92, and then it drops down to 2 88 rated strikers. So I feel like, depending on his formation, I'm not read at them. He maybe, unless he plays a one up top, like a 4-2-3-1. But if he wants double striker, I imagine he'll go for another 90+. So Wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, Ronan's got quite a lot of decent strikers, and I can't see Ronan budging with any sort of players because he wants to keep his throne
that's
nice and warm for himself.
It's like the Monopoly, and then are you gonna sell or not?
Two big players at the top.
It's also funny that everyone is now, Agana, buy my players. I must admit, I sent him a DM about Matthews, like, how much you want to pay for this guy? So let's see if he bites. If Obi-Wan also said with Ruiz, like, buy Ruiz. But yeah, there's another great left back now. To be continued for sure.
Yeah.
Then very quickly, IRL, MFL. Yeah, you watched the last bit of Liverpool Man U.
Yeah.
If there's any story there.
Obviously, the game ended 2-2. Obviously, a lot of snow. Well, there was in Liverpool. It got cleared up before the game. I didn't manage to catch the end of it because I was driving back before we had to prep some stuff for this. But obviously, Salah scored, so get the fantasy points for that. But actually, I'm going to slightly mention one other quick game. The Norwich game yesterday, for about 90 minutes, was pretty boring. We were losing 1-0, and then we scored in the 91st and the 95th minute, and the place went absolutely fucking bananas.
That's great.
The first goal was a lovely outside the box, like 21-yarder curler, which do you know the term like postage stamp, like right in the corner?
Yeah,
so postage stamp or top bins. No keeper in the world. It is so in the corner. It is just beautiful. And then we scored a 90+ fifth, and I've hurt my knee a little bit, just below my knee. I like bashed it against we have safe standing. And I think I just smashed my knee against the pole in front of me. So it's a bit achy, but it was achy for a good reason. But yeah, that was a great game, and worth checking out the highlights. People who want to see a bit of limbs.
Reminding you of that. Well, I can maybe quickly say about Liverpool Man U. I watched also the second half was really good. I guess for Man U fans, it's like a little bit of hope. Like this very dominant team. They scored 1-0. They came back to 1-2. They should have won it. Maguire had this massive chance, like 1 second before, like he could have scored. Although it's Harry Maguire, so
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard. But yeah, there's always hope. You can perform well away, like the hardest away game of the year, and do so well. So also for MFL, maybe you're underperforming, and there can be some great results, and maybe that will turn things around. So don't give up. That's the main message. And I think that's also a great message for the new year. Be a bit positive, look ahead, set some goals, some resolutions. So we're going to talk about our New Year resolutions for 2025.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to look back at 2024 and see what happened to our goals and predictions and aspirations.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing some of these. Do you want to hear your first resolution from last year?
Yeah, let's start with one of mine.
Let's go.
My first resolution, and that is be more consistent with keeping up the MFL club social media.
How did that go, mate?
Not super good. No, I think definitely Corsairs. Well, Corsairs and Black Sea, not so much. And then Magos, season 1 I did regular. Season 2 also with the Christmas break a bit less. And because we're losing so much, a bit less. But I still need to be a bit more consistent. But I'll come back to this with my new year resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So I can connect it to that one.
Go on, connect it now. Connect it now before we go on tomorrow.
Already. Okay.
Well, it relates to it, so we can include.
It relates to it. Yeah. So we both wrote down 3 resolutions, 2 about our personal experience and 1 for MFL. And number 1 that I wrote down is more quality instead of quantity. So I've been selling a bit. I've sold 2 clubs. I'm selling some players, and I want to keep kind of condensing it down, like kind of downscaling, and then maybe have only 3 clubs, maybe 2 clubs left.
Yeah.
And when you have like a much smaller organization, it's also much easier to test, to keep track of results, and to post more on social media because you only have 1 club.
Yeah.
And now I have and Magos and Corsairs and Black Sea, and that gets a bit too much. So if you have only one club, you know the ins and outs of that club, you know, tactically you can do way more testing and posting and create more stories, more narratives, and more maybe YouTube content based on only just on one club, on one journey of one club. So we can connect it to that one, that I want to do a bit more quality focus and less quantity, massive organization, 8 clubs.
I felt like the beginning of the year, it went pretty well because obviously you had the resolution, you had that drive, that hype, that I want to commit to it. Kind of went down a bit, and maybe towards like down towards the mid to the end of the year. And then once you had your $3,500 for your Magos to Madrid, and we see that side of it, you can see it definitely ramped up again then because of your role that you had for your temp role. But I think it's a good one that you've connected with that. So good luck, sir.
Yeah, so that's new one and old one, more quality, less quantity.
Okay, right. Here's
one of
my
yours.
First one. My first resolution I mentioned in last year's video. But I would like to meet someone in person from MFL, whether that be from England or from wherever. I would love to sit down, have a beer, have a chat with just another MFL user. Well, that went horrendously this year. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to out myself here. So Rare Canary sits, I kid you not, probably about maybe about 100 seats to my right in the Carrow Road. And I've known him for like nearly 2 years. Still never met with him.
but do you know how he looks also? Like, do you know
No,
who he is or not?
I think he probably recognised me from the streams and things.
I guess so, yeah.
But I think I do actually know his personal Twitter, so I guess I could recognise him. But there's so many, there's like thousands of people at the ground. But that should be an easy tick off. But if we exclude that, then right, folks, need a big meetup. We need got to make it happen. It's poor effort from me.
Well, I think definitely in England one, like the new users I shout out, there's quite a lot of, I saw more Norwich, I saw, there's some London, well, we have Birmingham. I don't know if you pick one city in the middle, some pub. I don't know what's more central. And then it could happen.
Well, definitely Sorare Canary. I mean, you need to...
Oh, yeah, it's poor on my side. It might listen to this. And it's poor on my side.
You can just say, meet me 1 hour before the game in the Black Horse.
Now I know a lot more. Now I know a lot more English-based users from things that say like the Ramble podcast. A lot of them are, British. So there's at least 20 of them that I know fairly well. So like they have sometimes, I think they sometimes have their so rare meetups. We need to make an MFL one and make it a yearly occurrence. So I've not got down that one as this year's, but I think I would like that to still happen, but I won't call it a resolution. I just think that's something I want to do this year. So.
I think for everyone, we talked about it before, like some kind of meetup or smaller meetups. I think definitely a France one, an England one. Maybe I can do like a Dutch one in summer when I'm there, or maybe I'm 2.5 hours by train from Berlin. Maybe some German, Polish, Central European meetup in Berlin. So I like it, but that didn't happen last year, so 2025.
Time goes quick when you're having fun. Right, this is your second one from last year, Calva.
My second one. So this is a bit more about the game. I said, do more testing, be a bit more serious with tactics and testing and match preparation in general.
Wow.
How'd that go?
Not so well again. I think I'm still Mr. Balanced mostly. Although I've been a bit more playing around with it, especially Magos.
Yeah.
With Magos I did it a bit more serious. Because there was also higher stakes, more pressure, and I needed to survive in Diamond. So I did a bit more testing there. But again, I think quantity, quality, like just having so many teams, you kind of give up because there's... I think Dove last week talked about... you said something about like having 3 children and then one you send to college, the others you don't. And it's like, who do you choose? Same with me almost. Like if so many teams, then can you do the testing for all of them? or you just keep it kind of balanced and good enough, 80%, good enough. So I didn't do it as thorough as I wanted. With Miguel's a bit more, with Corsairs a bit more. And if next year I stick to my more quality approach, I should be able to do a bit more testing. So still work in progress.
So this time next year, we won't call you Mr. Balanced. We'll call you like Mr. and then something else, like Mr. Unique, Mr. Tactician, maybe not Mr. Balanced. Is that what we're hoping for?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Mr. In Dutch we have this totaal voetbal, like total football. So
okay,
maybe that's Mr. Total football.
Yeah. Right. Rock on to my second one. Here we go. I've got an MFL orientated one here as well. And I've gone, this year, I would like to see a Diamond League or the Diamond Division with all 12 teams participating in it. Ding, 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 ding. We can take that one off, mate. When I listened back and clipped it, I went, yes. How good does it feel to now say that was a successful resolution for MFL that they achieved? I mean, albeit in the last couple of weeks of the year. You know, that the 12.
Yeah, the way they got a 12 team is a bit controversial, but they got 12 teams.
Maybe they listened to maybe Matt listened to this. I think it was episode 14 or something at the time and went, cool, they've mentioned all 12 teams. You better make season 1 end of the year so they can at least have a successful resolution on the podcast in 2025. But I think that's a good one to tick off. Good one.
That's nice. Yeah, nice and quick. Came true.
Right. I've put here Jimbo 2.5 resolution before we come to your third one. I'm just gonna click on this one quickly. Okay, go for it. I think it maybe adds on one. I don't know. Actually, I'll go one better. I want to see us with at least 500 unique club owners. Okay, I think I get the reference. I think what I should have included, I think you said maybe unique club owners, and then I went one better with it because I thought there'd be more. And then, so at least 500 unique club owners. Do you want to know how many unique club owners there are currently?
Tell me, I'm curious.
There are, let me just bring it back up quickly because I had it on my screen from Alexis' beautiful website, MFL Assistant. There are currently 1,279 unique club owners. So we didn't just beat it, we beat it by 2.5 times. That's
really impressive.
That is very, very impressive. And I would love to see a little graphic maybe, or some sort of stat that shows over the last 3 months what that figure looked like, because I feel maybe since season 1 started or the breakaway, that has really ramped up considerably. Like big time. So nice one. We can take that one off.
Yeah, I mean, before we had like 500, 600, 700 clubs registered for some 0.4, 5, 6 alpha season. But then still you had like only 300 unique club owners. So then reaching the 1,000 is a huge jump. Yeah. So great one. We also achieved that one.
Right, here was your third, or I've just got named it as your third. It is your third. It might not have been the third in the list because some I didn't include because there was so many of them. But Calva's third resolution.
Yeah, I also had that. So I said 1,000 teams. So let's do what we just said. Also for MFL, I wish to have promotion relegation. Right.
Wouldn't that be dreamy?
Yeah, that would just be so nice.
There we go. Bosh.
Another one. Promotion
Achieved. And how good is it? I know we've had it for at least a season now, but the whole relegation promotion dynamic, I banged the drum for 2.5 years that it was going to be my favourite feature. That when it it wasn't if, it's when it got included, and I love it. Obviously, I've benefited from the promotion side of it since season 1 to season 2, and I could even go down to the relegation side to it, but it's just football, isn't it? It's great to have promotion.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And actually, we didn't do any resolution about the level of drama, but before we were always saying, "Oh, there'll be so much drama." Like, did it deliver on the drama, or do you think it was not as dramatic as you would have thought about teams going down?
I
think it was not too much.
I don't think it was as dramatic because maybe some clubs knew the season if they were going down before the season started. Whereas now when leagues within divisions start to balance out more, and the teams are more competitive, then we might see a bit more drama, because it's like, oh my god, this team has gone down where they clearly shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, the team I played in the 9th playoff place to go up to bronze, I smashed them like 7-0. So that team knew they were going down, and that's not very drama-like. So I think the playoffs, when everything starts to get more balanced and competitive, the relegation playoffs will get more competitive and more, and therefore have more drama themselves. So maybe not this season, but coming seasons, I think.
Okay.
Right. That was Calva 3rd, Jimbo 4. Here we go. Most, I guess I can call it for both my clubs, but mainly the Wyverns. I just want to have a player who gets like top goal scorer or like best goalkeeper. I really wanted to get a player trophy in 2024, and I got one. And it's my only one. It's my only one. No, it's a golden boot.
A golden boot. Okay.
It's Mateus Honorio in season 0.7. I thought he'd be the one who would get it for me, and all I wanted was to capture one individual player trophy, and then I was happy. I didn't need any more after that. Obviously, I want loads more. But he captured it with 34 goals in 21 games. So I now have one individual player trophy. Huzzah. We've made it.
Great. Check.
Right, your next one.
Well, I have one for us, maybe.
Ooh, go on. So I've got some as well.
WenDirkCast resolution.
Yeah, go on.
So maybe more streams for sure. More streaming. Yeah. And maybe even a bit more visual also. Like more like a video, or we have a quick stream.
I've got to do a live podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Stream a podcast. I would like to do that. Podcast. Tick, 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 baby.
Hat trick.
Hat trick.
Hat trick.
He can score with his left foot. He can score with his right foot. He can score with his head. Bosh. Nice. The perfect hat trick there.
And live, more streams. We did one live and more visuals.
So we now do YouTube as well. So
great.
Cool. Look at that. Absolute bosher. So that was Calva 4. Here comes me next one. On the Spotify wrapped up for our podcast, it tells us how many users have WenDirkCast in their top 10, top 5, and top 3, and maybe even top 1, but we didn't have a top 1, Saj. Top 3 list of podcasts. I think we had a couple in top 3 or top 5. I want to be someone's top 1 podcast. I can reveal, Calva, we were indeed someone's top 1 podcast. Not someone.
Wasn't 40 something?
47 of our fans have us as their top podcast on Spotify. So a huge thank you to all of you. That is absolutely massive. Massive. I think combined on all platforms, we have well over 100 followers. Because obviously there's like Apple, Spotify, all the other sort of smaller ones. Yeah. But I wanted to sort of piggyback off the back of that. And I gave us some more targets to hit, Calva, for next year across our socials.
WenDirk resolutions.
WenDirk resolutions. I think that's sort of like on the side to our personal MFL ones, but I think it's still very much appropriate. So on our podcast YouTube channel, quite nice and simple, I'd like to achieve over 100 subscribers. I think that's relatively simple to do, considering how many Twitter followers, the podcast followers we have. But I'd like to see that translate over, because a lot of our viewers are really, really liking the visual side to it, because they can just watch us on YouTube now. And I think people are loving that.
We can do a nice little giveaway. Just subscribe, hit the subscribe.
Hit subscribe. If we hit these milestones throughout the year, we'll do giveaways. We'll do giveaways for them. On Twitter, we currently have just over 600 followers. I want to hit at least 1,000. I think we can add an extra 400 to that. And then I said we have over 100 followers on both platforms, but I think we only have 69 followers on Spotify. Let's make that. We'll double it and give it some more. I want at least 150 followers on Spotify. Some quite outrageous, some quite nice targets to hit, and some bigger ones to achieve. But if we hit them, we've just said it on the pod, so you've got evidence, and we can't back out now. When we hit those individual targets, we will do a giveaway. for if and when, well, hopefully when we hit those. So some nice targets for us to hit.
Yes. Sounds good. Good goals.
Right. We've got one more each here, and then we can go into our other resolutions that we've not mentioned off the back of them. So coming up is you.
Speaking a bit about resolutions, this was not written down, but using my crystal ball, we always ask people about the future, right, and how you see it developing. But in general, I think not financial advice. But
hang on.
Yes.
Don't say not financial advice, then say financial advice afterwards. Is that what you just said?
I'm just saying I personally feel that the crypto market will have another proper recovery, mini bull run, what you call it, in 2024.
Yeah, man, like have a little mini bull run. That should have been financial advice. We should have all believed you. We would have all, if we just all dumped in Bitcoin when we released this, we would all have probably 2.5, 3 times our money now. So
yes, yeah. You should listen to me for no, not financial advice, not financial advice. But it's nice to and we profit of that, right? I think that was also what I was gonna say. With sales,
yes,
with a bigger crypto market means more money in MFL.
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say.
Later on in that, you went to go mention, but obviously I clipped it for the resolution. But you went to go mention that if that happens, then the chances are more people will be attracted, or more people will have disposable income, or just more amounts of money to invest and help grow the game. And I think maybe a obvious example of that right now, people like Akane, who do come from a crypto background. That's where he's made his at least $66,000 through. So, it's working. Crystal ball again for this year, Calva? Or keep we have a little bit of calm down.
Is this non-financial advice, or is it?
No, okay, no, we won't go into financial advice. You gave some non.
Yeah, well, I always it's fun to do. But let's say for MFL, I think we had a 1 million milestone, 2 million, right, in sales. Already,
I've got that as one of mine. I would like to see MFL with over 2 million in player sales. We are currently at 1.33, so an extra 750,000, which I think actually might be what this resolution coming up from me is next. I said last year, but let's have a quick listen before we jump.
Yeah, let's and then talk about it. Yes, let's do that.
I'd love to see that doubled, but I think it's quite hard to get that to be doubled because of how much transactions happened already for big players. But maybe let's just say we can add an extra $250,000 onto that. So for context, I think the total amount to pay at the marketplace then was 250 to 300,000, and I think it was 350,000 actually, or 300,000, and I said let's double it. But I went, that's maybe too much. Just add $250,000 to that marketplace sales, and we've basically added another $1 million. Or added $1 million to it. And that's where I think, like you just said and I just said, I'd like to see us push over 2 million in player sales in 2025, which I think, considering the growth we just had last year, is perfectly realistic and reasonable target to have as a resolution.
Definitely. No, I think that's good. 2 million, 2.5 maybe. That sounds even better, like 2.5, 5, 10, like those kind of milestones.
Yeah, the milestones, yeah.
Let's go for 2.5. I think that's possible, especially with... I also feel like we should, like those kind of Akane splashes and sales, like kind of share those stories, a bit more clickbaity. Like you never know what's happening in this tiny NFT game. Yeah. And then like you have like all of those sales going on. So I think that can also generate more attention. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that people are so passionate about it that they're willing to spend that kind of money. Yeah. But let's see. There was one more resolution?
No, that was of all that so I've clipped there. We clicked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We listened to about 12, between 11 to 12 resolutions there. And obviously we piggybacked off the back of those some of what we think our resolutions might be if they connect to them. But now I have some different ones that we've not mentioned so far. Yeah. So would you like to go first with an extra resolution that you've got, Calva?
Yeah, so I have one more. So I have 3 resolutions. One was the quantity. So I try to go for more quality this year than quantity. Mm-hmm. And I have another personal one, which maybe also with can combine it as a WenDirk, is to reach a bigger audience. So of course, with WenDirk, we set those new targets: more subscribers, more followers, more listeners.
Yeah.
And also for my YouTube channel to reach a bigger audience, and then especially also more like a different audience. So a bit more those FM fans I keep haunting with check out this FM style game, and also non-NFT audience. I think those are two really things key audience we need to hit. Yeah. Maybe when there's like delegation coming in or some other features, that would be a good moment to try that again. But in general, spread the word a bit more and try to reach more diverse audience, bigger audience with WenDirk and with my videos and Twitter. So I think that's a personal one.
Very nice, very nice. I have a personal one here. So I want to try and achieve a minimum amount of MFL or earn it through rewards through this year. And in season 1 with 2 clubs, at the time were Iron and Stone, I earned just over, I think it was 31,000, just over 30,000 MFL. I'm going to be ambitious here, because if we say that there's roughly about 8 seasons in a year, 52 divided by 6 for 6 weeks in a season is about 8.7. Just say 8. Just just round it down rather than up to make the target even harder to achieve. And then if we do 30 times 8, you then get 240. Do 3 times 8. I'll do 3 times 8, it's easier. 3 times 8, 24. They add the zeros on. You get 240,000. I would like to achieve at least 250,000 MFL in this calendar year. That doesn't include the 30,000 that I've already just achieved. I'm not including that in there. So that's a target I'd like to set myself. And then it's sort of like a subsidiary or like a little child resolution of that is that I'd like that to include at least 2 trophies this year. Because trophies are far harder to get this season. It will be now that sort of the league started to balance out a bit. So at least 250,000 MFL, and hopefully that includes with it 2 trophies for myself.
And how will you spend all of that MFL? Is it just 25 on comments, or maybe?
I think that it will vary, because my strategy at the start might be to open them, sell the players, etc. But maybe towards the end of the year, when I realise that some of my players are getting older, they might start to retire, or nearing that point, I might need to replace them. So I think what my strategy will end up being is open the packs. I'm not against selling packs. We've all seen how crazy pack prices have got on Floaty and everything. You'd be daft if you'd not told yourself you wouldn't sell on there to maybe try and use that finance to bulk your own squad. But open a couple packs each season if I can. If a player is younger than a starting player in my current lineup, I will hold them as a replacement down the line. But if not, look to move them on. That'll be my strategy.
Good. Then MFL ones, right?
Yeah.
2 MFL ones.
Yeah.
So I'll start, and then you can say your MFL resolution. Mine connects a bit to what we talked about on previous episodes, is that I would like to see this year a full in-app experience. So that everything related to the game is in the app, and you can play it without Discord, without Floaty, without other things. So that all communication, messaging is done there, that you can make offers for players, that you can trade players, that all the kind of the announcements that we all see on Discord are also in the app, so that people without Discord or also I literally got Discord for MFL. By the way, I told you about Twitch.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I just have Twitch because of WenDirk.
Oh, we had 2 hype trains on the stream, by the way.
Oh, did you use my GIF?
We didn't. Oh no, I've not. Oh, for Wednesday, we'll make the GIF. I'll see if I can find it of the GIF of you. But we need you to sing on Wednesday. That happens, by the way.
Yes, but just so you know, I literally made a Discord account for MFL, and I made I joined Twitch for MFL. So that shows like not everyone is also in that scene in this whole Discord.
Yeah.
So to just have only the web app, and to be fully kind of independent, playing it independently of other things, that would be great. So that is my resolution for MFL.
Nice. Right. One of mine, which I'd like to see in MFL, and that's maybe it's a bit different because your one is sort of, different to maybe like the unique, like a value sort of thing. I would like to see sort of, how do I word? I don't think the best way to word this. So when deadlines happen, and then schedules and league tables are then formulated. I'd love that to be like very, very soon after. Maybe it's sort of like an automated process that doesn't happen like the next day. It's a very deadlines happen within the hour, bang, you can see your lineups. So the time between deadlines and competitions being created almost being down to say within the hour, because sometimes people say, when's the lineups, or when's the competition schedule's going to be announced, and then it's like 2 days. And it's sort of like maintain that hype, and let's get Bastiste working early on his strength projection charts. Let's see the time that it takes to do those come down a bit to keep that sort of hype up. Like when deadlines happen, and then it's like, oh, who am I going to get? And you can know very soon after, not have to wait, and then wait for announcement to say, lineups and things are out. Let's have a quick turnaround of deadlines.
Yeah, I think that also relates a bit to mine, like more in-app, more automation, more like... speaking about this, I would love to see also an in-app, more like a calendar, like your personal calendar. And then you see, in 5 days' time, transfer window closing in 10 days. So you see it in a nice real calendar. Maybe you click on a day, you see all your matches on that day. Something like that, to also a bit more transparent with all the info, and to make sure everyone's on the same page. I know before people were surprised with transfer windows opening and suddenly all their players got signed, and to prevent that from happening. So that connects with yours too. About deadlines.
Do you have another MFL one? I have one more MFL one.
Well, I only wrote this one. I can probably think about, but first go, and then I'll chime in.
This is, I don't know how to, I guess it's like I guess call it resolution, more of like speculation rather than resolution. We see an extra division being added to the pyramid.
With the current pace, I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Yes.
What would you call it? It's all this.
I like Dirt, just Dirt League. That sounds just great.
It sounds so horrendous. Being like, new user join. What division are you in? Telling your friends, I'm in the Dirt League. It's like, maybe we replace one letter, replace a T with a K, and we get a Dirk League. We could maybe sponsor division.
Dirk League.
Division. We can sponsor the Dirk division. Brought to you by WenDirkCast.
But speaking about like, do we add another division, or maybe even a whole other pyramid? There's been, to do another resolution prediction, maybe we'll see another pyramid, which is semi-pro, with also non-NFT players, just randomly generated guys, a whole team between 25 to 35, something like that. Maybe we'll see it this year, that we, to attract new people, because sometimes the bar to spend, especially for non-NFT players, right, to spend like 80 USD minimum on like random like collectibles in a game like an NFT might be a higher bar. So what if it's a semi-pro league, maybe semi-pro pyramid, or amateur pyramid, aka free-to-play. Maybe we'll see that happening instead of adding a Dirt League. That can be. Maybe do we know what predictions?
Predictions.
Quick predictions for 2025.
Quick predictions
of the.
Cool.
I have a good one for you.
Go on. Good for
in
me.
1 year. In which league is Wensen playing in 1 year? Which division?
Ooh. Well, depends on how generous the owner is with his financial injections into the club based on their performances each season. I would like to think that this time next year, Silver would be hard unless I've got some really beautiful progressions. Because I want to see how far I can get at the moment with the progression influence within my team. But I would like to say it's no lower than bronze. I think I hold firm in bronze.
Okay.
And
so you're still in bronze?
I think still in bronze. I don't think I ever go to gold. I think maybe throughout the year I might sneak into a silver and then plummet straight back down again. But, if Trinidad ends up being a huge striker, well, he's not huge because he's only 5'9", but huge in overall rating, maybe we can push forward. But yeah. I'll reverse one for you, Calva.
Yeah.
How many clubs do you own right now?
Well, this is a good one.
Excluding Magos. Excluding
yeah, so I have Magos and I have an ICE license that I just got for the Christmas pack without no players and unregistered, which I'm trying to sell. And then I have 6 active teams that I really own and manage. So your question is probably how many in 1 year's time?
Yeah, how many clubs will you have in 1 year's time? How many?
I think...
I can't imagine higher, right?
No, well, that would break all my resolutions and it would be very difficult. I think 4. I think I managed to get maybe... It's a slower process. Maybe 4. Still quite a bit. In general, I think we'll see a trend. Maybe another prediction, see a trend of people downscaling with it getting more intensive, more time consuming.
Yeah.
Maybe if delegation, though, that will reverse the trend that you can just delegate those clubs. So maybe I still have the clubs, I own them, but I'm not actively managing them. Yes. That can be what's happening there. Then I have another quick prediction for you.
Yep.
In 1 year time, will there be a player that has been sold for 10k? We're adding that extra number, 10k or higher.
I don't think so. I think we had 3,200 twice. We've seen trade values over 10,000. I think it was 11,000, 9,000 we had, but obviously that's a trade. That's not the same. I don't think we hit over 10. I think we do hit over 5.
Okay, so 5 for a single player.
But let's be ambitious and let's meet in the middle and go 7.5. Do we hit someone over 7.5? Let's 7.5. Okay. I think maybe we can achieve that. And I have one final one for you, Cal.
Yeah, final one.
Let me just do a quick bit of maths on my screen here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. This time next year, how many clubs do MakeThink and Akane hold respectively as individuals? Not between them, how many do they hold each? So to give you current figures, Akane currently holds 20, but said he'd like to own 255. And then you've got MakeThink, who's just obviously plodding away with 46 or something like that. Do they scale down? Does Akane break 50?
I think it depends again on whether delegation is going to be there. That will change everything. If you can just delegate a club and still own them. But then, let's say they're actively managing, I think Akane will soon realize that it's quite a lot of work. So I think he will have less. And I think MakeThink just has a whole system. He already has done it many times. I think he will still have around the same amount of clubs. And he has his whole method of running them with A and B teams. So I think he will still have more clubs and running them.
So our first hashtag of 2025 is going to be one of two. You as a listener have an option. Calva mentioned in his season update, we're talking about Diamond League, that Magos, currently a bit down towards that relegation zone. Well, they are in the relegation zone. And obviously, when we first started talking about this team, we mentioned hashtag Hankies in or hashtag Hankies out. So with knowing the information Calva said earlier and the struggles of Magos de Madrid so far this season, it could turn it around second half of the season. Are you a Hankies in or a Hankies out? Let us know. Hankies in for still the full support of Calva. Hankies out. You want him out. You want him gone. Mid-season transfer window, change of manager. Substitute the owner, please. Are you Hankies in or Hankies out? Let us know on Discord, on Twitter, which side of the hankies you're on. And also, if you want to, any MFL resolutions that you have for yourselves as well. It would be great to hear all of them. But right, Wednesday stream. Make sure you're there. Lots of prizes, lots of good fun, quizzes, lots of players going to be unpacked. Going to be great. So, without further ado, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll catch you this time next week for another episode of the WenDirkCast. Thank you for listening.